Alright, welcome back. That took longer than I was expecting. At least 10 minutes. I got the bombs. I was thinking about this week, trying to think of something to do for the intro. A lot of people do. Jingles and theme songs and stuff. Okay, right. She said I have to go back to outset and blow the door. Alright, okay. I think it would take me a long time to come up with something that I would feel comfortable putting as an intro. Just because I feel like it's better to have nothing than to have kind of an annoying intro. Intro's really important. There are a lot of videos, I mean, not a lot, but sometimes when I watch a random video on YouTube and it has an intro that's not great, I don't know, it just turns me off to the whole thing, the whole video. I think of less of the person almost, because their intro's not great. There's that boat. The Game Grumps have a good intro. I've watched. Well, I must have watched their intro at least 1,000 times, and it's not annoying yet. So, it's not really like a theme song or anything, which is probably better. It's just a quick 5-second thing, and that's it. So that might be better, but it's gonna be tough to think of anything. And I'd also have to do a visual thing with that. What would that be? I don't know. It's better just to not do anything than to do something crappy. Okay. East. No. Where's outset? Is it this one? No. I think it would be better to go north. I think you can go around. So let's try it. I had a note about apologizing, but I remember talking about that already. How I tried not to apologize too much, because I think that's kind of annoying to other people. But I think my baseline, like my normal personality, is just apologizing a lot. So I have to, like, I did some stuff this week at work wrong, and I kind of had to, I had an opportunity to be too apologetic to my boss, and I felt myself holding myself back and trying not to apologize too much. I think that would be annoying, especially at work, for someone to just be apologizing all the time. this way? No. This way. My compass is confusing me. It's pointing to the right. Is this where I'm looking? No. Let's change the wind. But yeah, I've talked about that before. Like how my dad, I think, apologized too much, and how it bothers me. Like, because I feel like I don't give him any reason to. Like, why does he feel so bad? I never punish him for doing anything wrong. So, why is he so worried about doing something wrong? I feel like my voice is too gravelly. You don't like it. I hope I can go around. Let's look at a new note. Oh. I guess I kind of wanted, well, so it was, today's the 13th. 9/11 was on Wednesday. I know this will come out like a week from now, so it's, but nobody's gonna watch it anyway, so who cares? 9/11 is one of those things that I feel like people Alright, get ready for 20 minutes of sailing south. I really thought you could go around like that. Okay, we'll have a nice long boat trip and I'll talk about 9/11. Wait, north? No, south. So, I feel like 9/11 is one of those things people always ask you, like, where were you when it happened? Because it was such a big deal. But nobody's ever asked me. Maybe it's not one of those things. Maybe people are just too sad about it. I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe like the moon landing, or is another one. And I was listening to a podcast the other day where someone was talking about the Vietnam draft and like where they were when that happened. I feel like the only thing in my lifetime would be 9/11. I was 8 years old. But yeah, nobody's ever asked me. But you don't have to ask. You're captive. You're forced to listen to whatever I have to say. Yeah, it's not really interesting, but whose story is super interesting about 9/11? Unless you were there. I mean, I was in New Jersey, so I was kind of close to it, but my aunt lives in North Bergen, and I remember she said she could see the smoke. I don't think we could see it. I live in North Jersey, but I don't remember being able to see it. So I was in 3rd grade. So part of the reason why it's not that interesting, and maybe part of the reason why it is a little bit interesting, is because in the grade school I went to, I remember hearing the teachers weren't allowed to. The teachers knew what was happening, but they didn't want to tell the kids. I don't know if that happened to maybe it was a thing. Maybe it was like a statewide thing where the governor told the mayors, like, you have to tell the school districts that they shouldn't tell grade school kids. I don't know. But it seems to me that that wouldn't be the case for every grade school kid in America. And it was a good idea because there was one kid in my class whose dad died. So probably shouldn't. The thing was, like, nobody knew for like a week. They thought maybe they could be lost or buried under this just terrible. Like maybe they might find them buried somewhere, because I think that was happening. Like people, like a day later, the rescuers kind of found some people and were able to save them. So I mean, you knew if your dad was working near the World Trade Center. So if he didn't come home that day, you kind of knew, but you were still holding out hope that maybe they could find him. It's just awful. So the teachers didn't tell the kids. But they knew, which I always thought was pretty interesting. Like how could you pretend nothing happened and go teach a bunch of 8-year-olds math and pretend like you didn't know that one of the worst things in the world just happened. And that maybe somebody you might know might be there and still have to. In retrospect, maybe they should have just canceled school at that point once the second tower went down. But I think it was like almost noon when that happened, so it was like, okay, it's almost 3 o'clock, so maybe that's what they were thinking. If I was a principal, I probably would have just said, like, we're gonna cancel school and I'm gonna call and make sure all your parents come. You should probably be with your family right now. So, but maybe the parents couldn't get off work, or I don't know. That'd be tough. I guess I never really asked my brothers what happened to them. I know that they were told. I don't think they like watched it live or anything. So my brother is 6 years older than me, so he would have been 14. So he would have been like a freshman. And my other brother would have been in college. So he definitely would have known. I guess it would be interesting to ask my other brother about it. I don't know why I never thought to. But I'm pretty sure they were told what happened while it was happening. I remember at the end of the day, the teacher did say something. And she was like crying, and oh, that's what I'm doing, boat. I remember my 3rd grade teacher being a good teacher. And I have to shoot this guy, I think. She was a nice old lady. And she was really upset at the end of the day, and she told us, I guess I remember her saying, something really bad happened, and uh-oh. I forgot that could happen. You do not have an... Oh, but it's the bow and arrow. I thought it was the bombs. Okay, I'm not that far. Let's change the wind to southwest. So I remember her being upset. I guess I'd never seen her upset, because it kind of scared me. But it was September, so it was the beginning of the year. But I guess just seeing an adult kind of act like that is scary, especially like a really... I remember her being pretty old, like 50 or 60, or probably like 60. So seeing someone like that cry is kind of shocking to a kid, I think. Yeah, she was choking up, and she was like, it's not your fault, but something really bad happened. And your parents are coming, and they'll take care of you, or whatever. Maybe she said, like, we'll make sure all your parents are here, or something. Oh, how awful must that have been, because that one girl's dad wasn't there. I never... Yeah, she was actually in my class, and the class was only like 15 kids, and that was the only person... Well, I knew two people that the other person was from church. So I don't know, just the odds of that I think are pretty low, because I think it was only 2,000 people. I mean, only 2,000. But I mean, to know somebody is of 2,000 people in the whole country. I guess because we're close, but it still seemed kind of unlikely. But yeah, we're in like a suburb of New Jersey, so I guess that makes sense that a lot of people commute to New York. Okay, I should really get in and do something on this episode. I remember my mom talking about where she was when JFK was shot, so I guess that's another one that people talk about. It is weird that it's been 18 years. I guess it does kind of feel like a long time, but also it's weird that there are just people that don't remember it. Or they weren't old enough. I have to change the day, or right, left, down. Okay, so I must just have to go to the... You have to go like around the back and then shoot the wall or something. Okay. Did we save my sister? I don't even remember. Is she still trapped somewhere? by bombs. I like this kind of trope in the hero's journey where you kind of return home, but it's, I mean, they're not really doing that here. It's just kind of raining. But when you kind of return home and it's destroyed or something's changed where you can't go back and you have to keep going forward. The one I'm thinking of is Star Wars, where Luke's uncle and aunt die, and he can't go back home. He has to go on this journey. I think that happens in Lord of the Rings too. Why would he tell me to go see her and then she doesn't even recognize me? I'd like to know more about this Hyrule world. I don't know, I'm just looking at this Triforce. They could do like an interesting culture around this Triforce and like a religion almost. I'd like them to try to do something like that. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Do I have to use my hook shot? Okay, I think I have to go over here, so I'll figure it out next time. And I'll be back. Okay, see you tomorrow.